In life, you have two kinds of people, the givers and the takers. For some reason, the takers seem to be doing really well in life, but not in the caro-kann defense that starts with e4. You play c6, he plays d4, you play d5, and the advanced variation. The theory says, there is a bunch of theory on bishop f5. I don't want you to actually play this kind of thing. I want you to play a new move. Why? Because people will not know this kind of variations. I can guarantee you that after you play this move instead, I can guarantee you that your friends are out of theory. Everybody you play against at your level is out of theory and nobody actually studied this. Here I'm gonna analyze 3 moves today. 2 of them are greedy people, the takers. This is keeping the pawn with bishop e3 that don't want to give you this pawn back. And the other move is b4. Then you have the givers, people who understand chess, who understand that you have to develop your pieces instead, and they give you the pawn back straight away by playing bishop d3. So we're gonna analyze bishop e3, b4, and bishop d3. Let's start with b4 because it's the easiest one. There is no way that this move is a good move for a simple reason. You're gonna be breaking the pawn chain. You're gonna go straight away with a5. They have an issue that I'm sure some of you know. They cannot play this, right? If they play this, you take. They cannot take because the rook is taking the rook. Game over. Thank you very much. Come back next year. Okay, so they cannot play this. If they play this move now, so if they go with c3, you simply take, and now you play b6. And look at this. There is no way they can keep this. And I'm going to show you how vicious this is. You will take with check. They will cover. You will take this pawn. They will play a normal developing move. And now you go bishop c5. And you're going to win. Because how do you defend this one? How do you defend this pawn? And now you're thinking, oh yeah, that's fine. I can just, put the queen. And what do you do now? How do you defend this? How? There is no way, right? There is no way that you can defend it. The queen has to move to a square, maybe even go back. I mean, this is checkmate. If some of you will win like this, the guy's gonna go back and this is checkmate. But now you're thinking, okay, he can go somewhere else. Where? The queen has no square. If he decides to actually defend this, it's done. It's over. Okay? So just to show you how you can win very fast against this move b4. The next move to try and defend is to play bishop e3. They're telling you, I am not giving you this pawn back that you just gave me. There is no way. I'm not going to give it to you. And you're like, that's fine. The most logical move here is to play queen c7, is to play this. But this is a mistake. And if you don't know theory, you're like, you know what? I'm hitting these 2 pawns. Why is this a mistake? And I agree with you. I had to analyze to actually know this. They're going to go knight c3. If you take this one, this is a blunder. They're going to go knight f3. You go back, knight b5, hitting the queen. And you go back or you give a check. They cover, you go back home. Now they go bishop f4 and look what's happening. They're hitting this and this. So the only move is to actually, control this square by putting actually the knight here, right? But you're not done. You go b4. They cannot take the pawn, otherwise knight c7. Thank you. Okay, I'm really bad with arrows. But otherwise, you see what I mean. Knight c7 and you win, right? So they cannot take the pawn there. That's the first thing. They cannot take this pawn. If they play a normal move like this, let me show you how vicious this is and how fast you can win, and I'm sure that you will. You go c3, you defend this. He goes bishop e7, which is totally normal because you know what you've been doing with these 2 pieces is that you have a grip of this square. Now you give a check. If he takes, you know that he cannot castle, right? So he's gonna go knight e4. If he goes knight e4, it seems like totally normal to actually play this move and you're thinking, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take this bishop next. So after I can castle. Yeah, right. Think again. Check. If you cover, you're done. If you take with the queen, if you take with the queen in this situation, I play knight e5, where do you put the queen? If you go back, let me announce, try to find it if you want, checkmate in 3 moves. It's hard to believe, but this is a checkmate in 3 moves after check. And there is nothing you can do to cover these squares. If you put the queen, I take it. So the only move is to do this, you take en passant. This is cute, come on. I'm sure you love it. You take en passant and this is still a check. And then they have to cover with the queen, checkmate, thank you. Thank you, the taker. Yeah, I got you this time. All right, so this is what can happen if people mess it up with black and play queen c7, but you came to see how to win actually with black, right? So this is the reason. Oh, by the way, if you play queen c7, he goes knight c3, and now you're thinking, okay, this was a blunder, right? But maybe what I can do is that I can take this one. Taking both pawns is actually a blunder. There's nothing you can do. So he goes again knight b5. So you see this maneuver, knight c3, knight b5 is super dangerous. You take the pawn. He goes knight f3. And now do you see what is happening or not? Because maybe you were thinking here, you take, and he cannot take because he is pinned. Yeah, but knight f3. And what do you do? Because next move, I'm gonna take, and there is a second threat. Your queen is basically overloaded. Your queen is defending, wow, your queen is defending the square, so the knight cannot give a nice little fork. And also is pinning this one. So when I play knight f3, this move, there is nothing you can do. Because, yeah, if you go to e4, let's say, in this situation, first of all, I can play bishop d3 here. I can play bishop d3. And what do you do with your queen? Where do you go? If you go queen g4, I take. Thank you. Thank you for the bishop. Thank you. And you're totally winning. That was also, by the way, if you go queen e4, just knight c7. Thank you, end of the game. But you see what I mean. So you cannot take any of the pawns after you play queen c7, which means, why would you play queen c7 in the first place? So you do not want to play queen c7 here, right? Remember this. But if you don't know it, I mean, first of all, you guys who play with white, you're going to win so many games against queen c7, right? Okay. The normal move here for black is to play knight d7. And you're thinking about capturing like this. You're also attacking both pawns, by the way. So you play knight d7. He's going to play knight f3. And now you can finally recapture with the bishop that he will exchange. And now he will play queen d4. And you go queen b6. Honestly, this situation is you go with the knight on e7, right? And then you're going to castle. He's going to go a5. You go back. Queen c3, you have to be super careful because he's lining up, right? Be careful because he wants to play this kind of moves, right? So you have to be careful, but you still go bishop d7. If he plays this, knight a6. If he takes, you take the queen. He takes and you take back. And let me tell you something. I would prefer to be black in this situation because I have clear targets. I'm going to castle. I'm going to bring a rook here, a rook here. I'm going to be attacking everything on the queen side. I have clear targets. Actually, yes, you have double pawns, but this one is guarding this. I'm very happy. I actually find these double pawns to be strong. Now, I want to analyze. So we saw what happens after bishop e3. We saw what happens, you know, these takers after b4. So the two variations where people are trying to keep the pawn. But now, what happens if people are trying to just develop their pieces and they're thinking, you know what, just take the pawn back. I don't want it. It's fine. I'm going to develop my pieces. I know it's important in chess openings to develop pieces, so I'm just going to go with bishop d3 instead. Okay. First of all, there is a trap. You have to be careful to actually not take this pawn, not this way, because of queen g4. And he's hitting straight away actually this. It's not easy to actually defend. You could go with knight e7. Now he will go b4. He's hitting on both sides of the board. You go back, so you lost actually this diagonal with your bishop. You go knight f3, he goes knight g6, you go h4. I'm sorry, but I don't want to play this with black. I don't know about you, but I don't like it. He's gonna come h5 next. And yeah, am I okay actually castling here when he has all his pieces actually hitting me here? No thanks. I do not want any of this. So I am not taking. If he plays bishop d3, I'm just not playing this. No way. The best move in the situation is to play knight c6. You develop your knight. Now you're hitting this one. Now he's gonna play knight f3. And now you take on c5. He's gonna castle, you go knight e7. And this is perfectly fine. I actually forgot a variation that I wanted to show you here. There is also a fourth move that I want to show you, that is bishop b5. Because a lot of people will actually play this move, which is bishop b5 check. They see a check, they just do it. Yeah, I'm sure you do this as well, right? Yeah. Here, you go knight d7. Now he's going to go bishop e3, because he's defending actually this pawn that you cannot take, because you're pinned. And if you go queen c7, he's going to go b4. Now you're thinking you're fine because you're taking this pawn. Are you really? Here I have a novelty, because at the very high level, usually what has been played is this move. Defending, okay, I cannot take the rook, right? But now I have a new move for you guys that I found that has never been played. This is this move, knight e2. I put a double exclamation mark for this move. You're giving away the rook. If he takes, you go bishop d4, attacking the queen. He goes queen a2, you attack the queen again. She comes here, discovery, attack on the queen. He has to move, he has only one square. You go check, you take the rook. Okay, remember these variations. He develops, you castle. Look at this. This is horrible. This one is misplaced. This one can never castle. There is a clear vis-a-vis here. It's a terrible position to have. Okay, so in this position, I do not want you to play the move queen c7. It's a mistake. Instead, the best move in this situation, if they play like this, is to just develop your knight on e7, and then he goes knight f3, and you go knight f5. You're hitting straight away the bishop on e3. He goes b4. Now you go a6. He goes there. You take the bishop, and you go a5. Here. He's gonna protect it. In this position, you're not gonna get the pawn back. You're not gonna get it. But you're gonna have a great position. Just develop your pieces and castle. He's gonna do the same thing. You go queen c7, but there is a trap. Because now you want to be playing and breaking the structure with b6, right? So he's gonna try to actually defend it by playing queen d4. And also he's defending this, because by playing this move, you're attacking actually this. So a lot of people that you're playing against will play this move, and they're totally gone. They're losing, it's gone. Take here. You can take. Now you're hitting the bishop. He has to take with this a pawn, so the rook protects it. But guess what? Black is winning a piece. b5, b5. And even if they take en passant, so the bishop cannot move, right? Because otherwise you take the rook, okay? And if they take en passant, let me just put it, if they take en passant, like this, you just take back with the knight, and again, this one is totally lost. Is lost. Is lost. I mean, you won the game, again. Okay? So, there is an amazing trap, so you have to be careful. Instead of playing this move that is a total blunder, that is the most logical move actually for white if you don't know this variation with a take and b5. Then the next move is to take. They have to exchange, you take back, and they play queen d4 now. This is the best way to play. You go bishop b5. And look at this position. I mean, honestly, I don't know about you, but you don't have to rush in this kind of positions. You have the bishop pair. So you have a long-term advantage over the two knights. Okay, you don't have to rush. Just bring your rooks, you know, you can play like this. This is perfectly fine. He's gonna go, now you're hitting the rook is gonna go on c1, and then you can play with f6 as well. So you counter in the center. That's a complicated kind of variations, but I don't want to go too deep into it, but just play with f6, and this is a game, okay? Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to play someone from the Discord server. By the way, join the Discord. The link is in description, so we can play together. I'm going to ask someone to actually join and play this variation where he's going to take on c5, like this. And I want to see how people of your level can basically, I mean, how he plays, basically this kind of positions, okay? So now we're playing someone who's 1110. We're gonna do the same thing. I hope he's gonna play the moves. I hope so. Now is the advanced variation. I hope he's gonna play this. Okay, so now he played d5, and we know our favorite is to do this. Now I'm telling him to take on c5, and after it's gonna be him playing. Okay? Okay, so we always play e6. Remember again, I keep repeating. And now let's see if he's a taker or he's a giver. Let's see. Is he gonna defend actually this pawn by playing b4 or playing bishop e3, you think? Or you think he's gonna develop his pieces? What do you think? Or maybe give a check. Again, so you see at this level, people like to keep their pawn. So he's defending and playing the same thing. Now we know the best move is to play knight d7. We're hitting both pawns like this. In the last game, at 340, made the mistake to play this. So now you can see Bnanik is really, really a taker. You're a taker. You don't want to give the pawn back. But now I can take this one. And this one, trust me, on e5 is more important than double pawns, right? So I'm just going to take it on e5. And yeah, you can play this if you want to. Okay, so how do we play here? I'm thinking the first move is to play knight c6. Yeah, I think just knight c6, hitting the bishop, hitting the pawn. And now he's giving us this. So now actually we can take another pawn. So now we're a pawn up. From a pawn down, we went to a pawn up. And you see that we haven't done anything special here. And yes, he's developing pieces. I get it. Okay. Now I'm very happy to give him this bishop. Remember, the structure is on white square. So you see the kind of mistakes that are being done. He goes like this. Thinking queen b5 could be interesting here. Oh, no, maybe queen a4, actually, to hit like that. What do you think about queen a4? Wins a tempo at least. I like it. I like it. At least we're hitting this, right? He doesn't have a white square bishop because, yes, our white square is now a super weak, but that's not very important. That's not very important. And then we're going to think about developing this. So he goes like that. Really? I do not have this? He thought maybe knight c3, hitting the queen. Knight c3. Yeah, okay, good move. Yeah, if I take on c2, he has knight c3. And then I cannot protect actually my knight that is here, right? But how about queen take? I know I'm being super greedy right now, but why not? I do not see it. So maybe he's going to show me. I think it's fine. Yeah. He cannot take the queen, obviously, because I take with the knight and this one is gone, right? Okay. I take this. That's fine. Exchange. Maybe after I'm going to play a move like a6, you always have to be careful about this kind of moves, right? Yeah. a6. Maybe he has this, though. It's quite annoying, to be honest. I have to say that I have an issue with development here. Should I go a5? But then he goes knight b5. Targeting this, I go rook c8. I go a5. Is he going to play knight b5? Trying to come here. Okay, I was thinking about this. I go rook c8. Okay, I'm threatening maybe to take on c5, even though, okay, it's kind of dangerous, but maybe I can because after I have a support with b6. So, yeah, maybe I took a little bit too many pawns here. Okay, but it was to illustrate. There is another pawn. I really feel like it, but I don't think it's a good move. I mean, is it? There is something I know is that Stockfish is taking on a2 and then putting the boxing gloves, like Korchnoi used to say. So, yeah, you know what? Yeah, okay, let's play normal chess and let's go knight e6. Ooh, I blundered. I blundered. The Discord is gonna go crazy. Oh my god, I blundered. Okay. Now you can take anything you want. You have a rook for free. So, Nanik, you should be winning this. Wow. Okay. What is the point of this move? Okay, I need to focus a little bit here. Oh, I see. You want to force me to come here, but then there is rook takes. This is a checkmate. Okay, can I go like that? Can I go like this? Okay, check. This is a mess, honestly. This is a total mess. I may lose to someone who's 1000 elo less than me. That's interesting, at least for the video. What's gonna happen here? Totally, I was speaking. I have an issue with speaking and thinking at the same time. I don't know about you, but it's not easy, honestly. I don't think this move was the best, but you know. I'm not certain, but I think now the position is not too bad. I mean, I can just take with the king. Now he cannot go back, so if I manage to get this one back, I'm in a good position. So, I have a threat, maybe knight d3, hitting the rook here and the bishop. Or, okay, I mean, next move, I'm thinking about taking the bishop next, right? So, let's see. Maybe he messed it up actually here. Yeah, he messed it up. Okay. Yeah, he got excited by this move, you know, when I played this. Wow. I went knight e7. You see, this kind of square actually is kind of dangerous, right? Yeah, I should have gone here, maybe just bishop e7, knight f6, and castle, but okay. So now he goes here. I'm thinking either maybe knight d3 or what can I do here? What can I do? I was thinking knight f7, but what can I do in this situation? Knight f7, actually, if he takes, I take, or if he takes, actually, there is a trap, because if he takes on e6 with the rook, I go king d7, and now his rook is attacked, and the knight on h8. But let's see here. It's interesting. Or I could go knight c6, but then I do not like, actually, this. Or I could bring this one. He goes rook take e6. So I have 54 seconds. What's the best move here? I think I'm going to try the trap here. Because I think he's going to take on e6. And then there is king d7. Yeah. Okay, king d7. And now you see what is happening. This is attacked and this is attacked. So yeah, you go like this, but you lose the piece, right? And now actually it's 4 pieces against 2. Now you're totally blundering. Yeah, I had to recompose. He was totally winning, obviously, and he should have won this game. But yeah, I don't know. I was speaking and trying to talk to you guys and show you exactly what to do. But it's quite kind of hard actually to speak and play and think about chess. Let's go rook c2 after. Okay, so let's go check. Because now he has to give the rook back, and this is checkmate. Okay, so we're playing someone who's 340. I asked him to play the caro-kann, so I hope he's gonna follow the moves, where he's gonna go with the advanced variation. I hope so, that he's gonna push, and I'm gonna be able to play c5, and I hope he's gonna take. So I'm gonna be able to, you're gonna be able to see actually what kind of mistakes white can do in this kind of position. So he's been asking me actually in the Discord because he doesn't understand the moves that I requested. So, against this, we're always gonna play this move e6. We know this from the video, right? He's a taker. He's a taker. He doesn't want to give us the pawn back. So he played one of the move. He was either this or b4, remember? So here, we saw in the video, we have to play knight d7. We're hitting this, we're hitting this. Let's see how he responds to it. Woo! Queen d4. Okay, so this is the kind of mistakes. You cannot play a move like this because now I can take actually on c5 with the bishop. Okay, that's a shame because it kills kind of like the video, but because now, yeah, you have, but you see, I mean, we haven't done anything. You see how it's quite hard for them to actually really, I mean, yeah, I can just take here, and then I can play queen c7, I'm hitting, no, it's not a knight. I'm hitting this, I'm hitting c2, so I'm just gonna take. But you see that after 9 moves, how basically the position is totally hopeless, right? You're targeting to take here, even exchanging actually queens here, and you're a pawn up. So we could play this. I'm trying to see if there is something better than this, like queen e4, but there is bishop e2, so that's not very interesting. Am I missing something here? Or I could come back actually on c7. Do I want to exchange queens here? Maybe not sure. Because after queen c7, maybe he plays queen d4, and I go knight e7. His queen is going to be misplaced, I feel like. I feel like I shouldn't exchange queens in this position, actually. I'm hitting this. If he defends it, okay, so he doesn't defend it. Okay, so we're just going to take, right? What is given to us? But to be honest, he could take, but now maybe he saw that he had this move. I don't know. But he didn't think that he was pinned. Yeah. So you see, let's count the pawns together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 pawns up on move 13. 2 pawns up, now just develop your pieces. There is nothing to do. I mean, if he goes bishop d7, you go bishop. If he goes bishop b5, you go bishop d7. Here there is the pawn on b2 that is attacked. Should I take, but then I'm neglecting development? So I'm thinking, you know, he would have a move like knight c3, for instance. And then my queen is misplaced, my king is still in the center. Am I going to be greedy? No, I'm not. I'm not a taker, I'm a giver. So, yeah, just going to take this. And then castling. And your 2 pawns up. He has an isolated pawn that will be here. I'm not sure actually why he doesn't take tempo, because there is no other move to actually do this. And now let's try to play this very fast and show you the technique actually how to win with 2 pawns. You have a majority in the center, develop all your pieces. That's the first thing, bring your army. That's what you want to be doing. You know, don't play with 2 pieces and stuff. He's proposing to exchange material when he's 2 pawns down. Very happy to do this, especially this bishop. The white square bishop was better for him. You had the bishop I had here. These pawns are on white squares. Do you think the bishop I had here was good? No, it wasn't, right? Let's push him around. And then, yeah. And now, my target is to get this one. Usually when you attack the knight, don't come with the knight here if there is a pawn on d5 that is protected. Okay, ooh, you could have defended actually the knight with rook c1, yeah? You're panicking a bit. Yeah, you didn't need to give this. Yeah, that's not very interesting. Now, to be honest, I mean, there is not even point looking in this situation. You just exchange pieces and you simplify the position. You go to the end game. He's giving everything now. Hazik, you're giving everything. Take some time. You still have 2 minutes. Just check and ask yourself, is something attacked? Do I need to defend something in my, or do I just sacrifice my army just like this? So, yeah. Here, let's just go like this. And then d4. That's going to be very simple here. We're just going to we can just pre-move this. check, you go here. Check, you go here. And to be honest, our only the only thing we want in this situation is to just push. But to be honest, for a 340, I get it. I mean, I get it. It's not easy to actually, well, it's not easy to play me to start with. And yeah, we're just gonna queen. And it's gonna be checkmate next move, right? Okay, he's giving this, but that's not a stalemate though. You can sacrifice that hook, but this is not, this is checkmate. So the most important here was, you play c5, he takes, you go here, you see he defends it, which is not the best move, we know this, because we play knight d7, right? That's the best move in this situation. And then he went queen d4. So it kind of destroyed the whole position, because obviously you're taking, and then you take this, which maybe, yeah, I mean, that killed everything. But you see how when you know the theory, you manage to actually win games pretty easily. I think that's enough material for you to understand c5, d takes c5. And I think after today's video, I'm pretty sure your results when you play the caro-kann defense will change forever. I'll see you on the next video.